All right, you're riding on the highway and you come up to a toll booth. You were not expecting to pay a toll. So you don't have any coins on you. You only have paper bills. So you're looking your purses, ladies, fellas, you're checking your pockets. You're under the seats. You're looking in the crevices of the seats. In your change compartment, you have no 75 cents anywhere in your car. So you just drive through. And let's say next week you get a bill in the mail asking you for $2.25 for violating the toll. Well, you're outraged because, first of all, you think it's not fair. You should not be billed $2.25 for a 75-cent toll. In fact, rip, you throw it in the trash. Let's just say next month you get another bill for $2.25 and you do the same thing. I don't believe I should be paying this. It's not fair. You rip it up and you throw it away. Let's just say that happened for 5 to 6 months. They continue to reproduce bills and send them to you. You don't think it's fair. You don't think you ought to pay it. So you rip it up and out of sight, out of mind, right? But does that mean you don't owe it? What are we talking about? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I gotta be a doer of your word and not a hearer only. Daily in your presence, walking in your light. A doer of your word and not a hearer only.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Truth Is with Belinda. Today we're going to start in Romans, the 1st chapter. And I'm going to read, for the sake of time, the 16th verse only in this chapter. This is the Apostle Paul. And he says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek." Okay? I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it being the gospel, is the power of God unto salvation to everyone who believes. Whoever believes, the Jew as well as the Greek. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. The power of God is in the gospel. And when the gospel is believed, anybody can be saved. That's what he's saying. I'm not ashamed of. I'm persuaded of this. However, in Romans, the 3rd chapter, starting at the 3rd verse, he asks a question. And he says, "For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect?" Over in Romans 1, he says the power of God is in the gospel. And whoever believes can be saved. Whoever believes that gospel can be saved. But the Jews did not receive Jesus. Jesus came to them first. In fact, in verse 2, it says, chiefly, he dealt with the Jews, chiefly meaning first, in other words. The oracles of God were committed to the Jews. They received the word of God first. But St. John 1 says that his own received him not. His own people, the Jews, didn't receive him. They did not believe his words. They did not believe his words. But the question that the Apostle Paul is asking, what if some don't believe? Even today. What if you don't believe? Does that make the faith of God without effect? Does that render the word of God powerless? Does that cancel out Romans 1:16? That the power of God is in salvation, or the power of God rather is in the gospel, and whoever believes it will be saved. What if I don't believe that? What if I don't believe in that Jesus thing? You know, y'all are just making that up. This Bible is for the trash. I don't want to regard this. You do it the way you want to do it, and I'll do it the way I want to do it, and we'll all end up in the same heaven. You know, all of this stuff is just, you know, it's relative to your situation. Whoever wants to do it, they do it. But I don't have to do that. I don't believe in that. The question is, if you don't believe it, does that cancel it out? Does that make it not real because I don't believe? Well, But the next verse says, God forbid. Absolutely not. No, it doesn't render the word without effect. It says, God forbid. Yea, let God be true. Let what God has said be true, and every man a liar. If I don't believe the word, that does not take away from its effect, because even if I don't believe it, it is still the power of God unto salvation. Even if I don't believe it, even if I just choose to not regard it, just like the bill. So I don't believe I owe it, so I rip it up and I throw it in the garbage. So because I don't regard the bill, does that mean I don't owe it? No, I still owe it. Just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean I don't owe it. I still owe it. Same way so with the word. A lot of people are just not regarding the word of God. A lot of people are still rejecting Jesus and the power that's in the gospel of Jesus Christ. So they're not coming into salvation. They're not being born again. They're not experiencing the life that's in Jesus Christ. But does that mean that it's not real? God forbid. I don't believe in Santa Claus. I don't believe in the tooth fairy. So as far as I'm concerned, Santa Claus does not exist. I don't believe in the tooth fairy. So as far as I'm concerned, personally, the tooth fairy does not exist. But I can't use that type of reasoning with the word of God. And that's what so many are doing. It's just like, this is just up for grabs. Whoever wants to believe it, they can believe it. But in the end, everything is still going to be okay. But that's just not the truth. I have to believe the gospel of Jesus Christ. The power is in the gospel. And it is belief in the gospel that will take me unto salvation. Well, that's all I have today. If you have any questions, have any concerns, if there was anything that was not clear, as always, simply leave your comments or you can leave them in my inbox and I will get back with you as soon as I possibly can. Thanks so much for joining me, and until the next time, be blessed.